Hello and welcome to a Bluestone X BTP Coffee Corner. Today we're joined by Dan Barton, CEO of Bluestone X, and we're going to be discussing BTP as a whole. We're obviously massive advocates for BTP. Why did we decide to go down that route?
Well, I'd like to say that we were looking ahead, trying to get ahead of the curve really. So we've seen BTP as it was a few years ago, rebranded, and thought that this was the direction that SAP and its customer base were going to travel. So yeah, I'd like to say we kind of got it right in terms of strategy and where we need to be focusing.
It seems, despite being a couple of years old now, that there's still some confusion out in the industry, well, the user base, in terms of what BTP can actually do for them. So why do you think there is that confusion?
There's probably a number of reasons. SAP do such a good job around their whole marketing strategy, but I think sometimes maybe the messaging is a little bit confusing. And there is really good documentation around BTP, but again, when you search and when you Google certain things around what SAP BTP is, I think there's almost like too much information out there. Some of it really up to date and therefore not released, or some information outdated. So I think it's a bit of a minefield for a lot of customers really.
Let's say they get through the minefield and they finally get SAP BTP working for their organisation. What's the potential there? What can it do?
Well, in terms of BTP, it is almost like Pandora's box. It's a whole platform for innovating your enterprise landscape, really. The beauty of SAP BTP, and this is where a lot of customers sometimes will kind of struggle, you don't really need to have an SAP kind of footprint there. It makes much more sense if you do have an SAP footprint, but I predict there'll be a lot more smaller to mid-sized businesses adopting BTP to innovate, and that means they don't need their big ERP platform as an SAP system. They could be running other best of breed systems, but BTP is most definitely that kind of strategic innovation platform for companies in the future.
If they're looking at this and thinking that, but are still using something more traditional, third party or ABAP, what's the difference there? Why would they move over?
I think people are doing that for a number of different reasons, and there are a lot. Whether it's knowledge and skill, or whether it's trust and whether there's trepidation. But I don't think I couldn't sit here and say BTP is always right and it's always that platform for that particular use case, because I don't think that's the case. I think BTP has its own particular use cases, but if your direction is SAP and you're looking to do things in a different way and disrupt maybe business process or disrupt technology, then I think BTP is a safe bet for most companies.
Looking ahead to 2024, again, the words on everyone's lips is Gen AI, automation. Would you say they're the big trends or anything else?
I would. I think those are the two certainly that are kind of in the forefront of maybe the C-suite. But again, the challenge is, where do you start with BTP? And it's finding that use case where it's low risk, high value. But yeah, Gen AI, and also like everybody's still either moved to S4 or in that planning stage or in the process of moving to, I still think data plays a huge critical role. What's the point in doing a load of great stuff around automation and Gen AI and your data's wrong? Like it doesn't make sense. So I think those three certainly would be high up on the list. But I think addressing the fundamentals is still, and you look at the messaging from SAP around keeping the core clean and things like that. So I still think the whole data aspect and when to innovate and what to innovate is at the forefront of people's minds.
And is that where you'd say is the best place for people to start with BTP?
I think data is quite a complex situation, but if you have the right use case I think the process automation is a really nice place to start. You can start consuming some of that Gen AI stuff, when we're talking about extracting information from PDFs and doing stuff with it. But I come back to our strategy that we set out probably 4-5 years ago around BTP, or it was SCP. And prior to that, it was kind of HANA Cloud Services. It was always about user experience, because you stand to get a greater impact by delighting users, making processes simpler, and giving them nice UIs with less clicks to gain productivity. So I always say, like, UX is quite an easy place to start, and it gets people bought in, gets them excited about BTP, and then you can start exploring then some of that like really cool stuff.
No, so there's a whole world to kind of get you started.
Yeah, it's just in my opinion, back then it was a pragmatic view on where to start. Now slightly different, because I think process automation, especially with the no-code, low-code solutions from SAP, that's also a great way to start, because you're not having to sink a lot of highly skilled resource into building something, and that really is where BTP needs to focus. It's all on that no-code, low-code with powerful impact to the business.
And is that more to benefit the decision makers who are thinking of resources, or is that more for the day-to-day user?
I think as an enterprise, like for me as a business owner, I think it's about mitigating risk. It's about empowering people, delighting users, and ensuring that we've got productivity, to name but a few. But if I had my business owner hat on, that's really what I'd be looking at. I wouldn't want to be sinking your traditional way of running projects, putting a lot of people into something, and you don't really know what's going to land at the end of it. BTP world, it's different, and this is why we say about the whole design thinking and the agile methodology. It's getting results and seeing those results quick, and then dropping them in increments, so that business know that what they're on is a kind of safe bet. They're going to get return on investment.
We've got the BTP factory.
We have.
Tell us a bit about that.
So yeah, the BTP factory is probably twofold. It's more focused on services related to BTP. And the idea is to come up with the skills and the capability to help customers. So BTP, as you know, Jack, it's huge. The pillars and the number of services are huge. But again, it's that methodology, it's that design thinking mindset, helping customers have comfort on where to start and what value they're going to get. But then more importantly, we've got the technical skill behind it. So what we're trying to create here in terms of the BTP pillars is having that capability, skill and expertise to help customers from, as I said, explore through to training, through to mentoring, or build, deliver, run, scale. It's that end-to-end breadth of capability that I don't think has been understood by partners. And that's really what I want to try and create this year, is have that capability for customers to come to us, drop into any pillar, and then they've got the resources and the skills and the real world pragmatic advice from Bluestone X consultants.